Yeah, boys. Episode 4, the Locker Room Life podcast. I'm one of your host, Frank. As usual, my buddies, Jay and Logan, accompany me on this journey, another episode of this wonderful podcast that we've created. Super proud of it thus far. Just want to let it rip around with the boys as usual. See what's going on in life, the happenings. What are we doing, boys?
Working, playing hockey, trying to, I don't know, be a parent. Jeez.
Those are definitely the biggest priorities in Jay's life. Mine are not there yet. But no, the boys just got back from Let's Play Hockey Expo. Had a absolutely electric time. It was awesome. I got to meet my good friends in person finally. Yes, that was the first time we met in person. It was unbelievable. We shot some good content at probably the sickest rink I've been on in a long, long time. It was just it was unreal. Just a very surreal week of meeting a lot of fans, meeting a lot of supporters of the brand, meeting people to collab with. They got to meet our last guest, David Nerman, who is an absolute character, the best. He's awesome. But boys, let us know how you guys like Let's Play. You guys got to get a booth next year, even though you magically got one this year.
I mean, what a trip.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That was like a little bit of a gamble, a little serendipity in there. But it kind of worked out. I wish that we had somebody filming the whole thing, because to watch our faces when they said, "You guys can't come in with all that food," because I mean, this is like a little preview of like what happened, but we have a line coming out for Buddy Hockey Club that's kind of based around pizza. That's pretty much all I can tell you. So Frank and I show up to this fucking thing dressed as pizza delivery guys with 6 pizza boxes. And they go, "I don't think you guys can come in with all that food." And we go, "Well, it's not food." And they go, "Well, what is it?" And we go, "Well, it's clothing." And they go, "What are you going to do with it?" And we go, "Well, we're just going to give it to some of these people that we've spoken to already, and we came to deliver it to them." And they said, "I don't think you're going to do that either." So we pretty much thought our trip was done. And
No.
we turned it around somehow.
No.
There's a lot of little things that happened in between there, but we finally walked into the show without our pizzas. Logan directed us to Brian, is his name?
Brian Zolman. He's a great
Brian
guy.
Zolman.
Amazing.
Yes. The director of the show of Let's Play Hockey. We kind of told him our spiel quickly and what the brand was for Frank and I and what we were trying to do there. And that was very understanding and very helpful. And directed us to a booth from someone who didn't show up. And he just let us have it. He was just saying we need to market the show. And that is what we're doing now. And thanking him 1,000 times.
Yep.
For giving us the opportunity. We had a very mediocre looking booth, but it was perfect. We didn't bring anything for a booth. You know? We got to meet some people there. We got to tell some people who we were. I think, can I still say that I think the funniest thing was that the OTB boys stopped by our booth and we gave them a pizza box. And I feel like everybody around us were like, "Who the fuck are you guys? Why did they come see you and then just dip?" And we were like, "Yeah, I don't know. I'll see you guys next year." I mean, it was just hilarious to us, but that's the long story long. But I mean, unless Frank, you have anything to throw in there.
Let's just start off with the flight path that I rewind
boy.
kind of the day.
Boy.
The boys know.
This is Frank's version of Toronto Pearson.
This is definitely my version of it. So, as you guys know, I was supposed to fly out that Wednesday. Out of the blue, I'm about to walk up to the gate, get a notice on my phone that the flight is canceled. Okay. Conveniently, I was right by the American Airlines customer service. So I said, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to pop over, see what's going on." Verify that the flight is actually canceled, which it was. Then seeing what other alternatives I had, as flights. Well, it was awesome because the next flight was at 8:45 p.m. It was at that time 9:20 a.m. So I'm like, kind of lost, in the mix there for a little bit, boys. I'm not gonna lie. Just what am I to do? What is life right now? What do I do? Do I go home? Because I live probably like 30 minutes away from the airport, so I'm like, well, running logistics in my head. Do I go home? Do I come back? When do I come back? Ubers, this and that, the whole thing, right? So thank God. Shout out to the Centurion Lounge, American Express. Those who are contemplating getting an American Express card, this is probably a huge reason why you should. Popped in, told them that the flight was delayed, said, hey, I'm going to be here for a little bit. Well, I was there for the 3 turnovers for the food at the lounge, so let's just say I definitely got my money's worth. So
They gave you a sleeper chair in the Express Lounge.
Give him a little pillow and a blankie.
I did end up getting a one of those little pod chairs, so I was there for a little bit. Set up shop, got a lot of work done. Chatting with the boys, talked to Logan and his pops driving, so that was cool for a little bit. Talking to Jay on, and he was in flight as well. And I thought it was funny that Jay actually landed early, so I was like, oh, must be nice, must be really nice. So finally,
we got delayed. We got delayed for the same storm.
Yeah,
but I landed early.
Yep,
which is insane.
Awesome. This is nice. And then, so finally got on this flight 8:45, getting to Minneapolis. Got in at about midnight, 12:30. This airport at 12:30 when you're hauling around the hockey bag, the suitcase, the whole deal. It's a little bit of a trek, boys. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm hauling through this airport.
Minnie's huge.
Try to get this rental car, and was misguided to go up to the 5th floor, which I was really needed to go to the 1st floor. So that took another, 20-25 minutes. Not a big deal at this point. Time it's an element that doesn't even exist. So then just went down in the rental car, said go back to the 5th floor, rental agreement in hand, finally get on this rental car. And it was a good rental car, eh, boys? The full-size Cadillac, shout out. If the transmission worked, we would be buzzing. We would be buzzing. But let's just say that it was a little stally, if you know what I mean. Hauling down, get into the hotel. Jay, bless his heart, waiting for me to get there. I know he was gassed.
And sick the whole time.
And fighting sickness. So playing hurt, boys. This is what we were doing.
We made it.
It was awesome.
Logan, the real deal guy at the Let's Play Hockey trade show.
Yep.
Logan Kuvo, slanging tape by the thousands.
Yep.
All day long.
It was unbelievable, guys. I can't even, it was a very surreal week for me, very surreal week for the brand. Probably gave out products to, I don't even know. The first day we did a wheel spinner and probably 2,000 kids and parents came by. And just the wheel didn't stop spinning for 8 hours. A wheel we had to throw in the trash because it was broken. It was a Temu wheel or something like that. It was absolutely trash, but it was amazing. We were giving away merch, hats, tape. It was awesome. Then the second day, we did something a little different. We did a caricature artist. We brought him there. The kids were loving it. God bless our caricature artist heart. It was unbelievable. He did about 120 caricatures throughout the day. And just to put that in perspective, think about going to an amusement park and getting a caricature of yourself. That takes about 8 minutes, 10 minutes. And he was doing it non-stop the whole entire day. It was unbelievable, though. And I had the boys come and watch me absolutely dog shit it up when I was at the vendor skate. I couldn't breathe. I haven't been on the ice in about 2 years. But it was awesome. Rob from Bud Ends was out there. The OTP boys were out there. John Chavo was out there. Shout out him. Absolute beauty. It was really awesome. Got some good footage there. And we, like I said before, we had this in our mind that we were going to film some content, and we fucking booked this rink for, Frank, how much was it? It was great price on it, honestly, for 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. It was, what was it? Probably like $300.
Yeah. Something around there.
Just for a one little blurb of perspective here, it's like $550 for an hour in California.
Yeah,
it was awesome though. We went to I forget the exact name of it. What was the name
It
again?
was so the rink was
Recreation
called,
Outdoor Center.
yeah,
The
What
Rock.
belong? Yeah.
otherwise known as the Rock,
The
at the
Rock.
St. Louis Park Arena. So
It
there's
was
yeah.
it was awesome. It was outdoor, like we were just ripping out there and just getting some content, shooting for the guys, and met some awesome people. It was just unbelievable. I can't wait to go back next year and
We need
hopefully
to
we
shout
can.
out
Oh,
Morgan
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
and goalie Chris.
Chris is the
Goalie
man.
Chris.
Chris followed me on Instagram. Chris was
Yep.
amazing. He was out there 2 hours just battling against us old heads, just shooting on them nonstop. He was awesome. So shout out to him for
Chris.
some content.
Chris Ernster, you're a real G.
Yep. Throwing it down for Chris.
Thanks for letting the old guys throw pucks at you for 2 hours.
But yeah,
There's a couple of highlight saves that I.
Oh yeah.
It was just so surreal. I can't thank Brian enough. I know they mentioned him earlier. Brian's absolutely amazing. And if anyone listening has a brand in hockey or just wants to go see hockey, and we didn't get to go to the Minnesota high school tournament because they're scalping tickets for $300 outside the Excel Center. It was unbelievable, but just the atmosphere and everything around it is so cool. And I can't recommend getting out there and going to it. It's such a cool experience.
Yeah, I mean, I know Jay touched on it a little bit, but for us just to be there, it was amazing. Just the energy, just being able to meet a lot of the guys in person, which was amazing. Just being able to meet a lot of different people in the game and just see kind of the state of the game from that perspective on the vendor level. The companies that are, just doing a lot of really amazing things in the space, but then also just the energy of the Minnesota high school tournament. It's world known tournament, and just to see that they're packing the Excel Center 19,000 plus every single game, it was just amazing to see
multiple times a day.
Yep.
It's crazy. Bananas.
Insane.
So cool. So cool. And I think just a bunch of other stuff going on in the boys' lives, and I think kind of Let's Play parlays really well into this this next episode that we have coming out. I mean, it's kind of the whole encapsulates everything. The whole space was working in hockey. All these companies were working in hockey. And this next episode is Nick Bowins, the mind behind that. He's been involved in hockey and hockey media for forever. And just such a pleasure to talk to him about just the state of the game and the state of where people are getting jobs. And it's so cool that there's a platform now that people can go into hockey. It's a very hard space, a very niche space to get into. And he's really making it mainstream and allowing these kids out of college, like myself, people who are the same age as me, to go and actually have a chance in the job market for there. So it's just so cool. It all works well so together.
Nick is awesome because, I mean, we all talked about it, right? Like the one dream when the game is over for us, playing competitively, the dream is to work in hockey and still be involved on any level. So to have some kind of platform to kind of reference a space where you can find jobs and actually just start your career path. And we talk about it a little bit in the interview, but just really mold a lot of times in college, kind of the path that you would want to follow, right? And being able to have a reference point to say, hey, look, when this is all done and when school's done, maybe I'd like to follow this path so that I can get a job in this realm of the game. So just being able to correlate the two things, and he's an amazing guy, just really good perspective on what he's doing for the game, but also the bigger picture plan that he has, just unmatched. So Nick, good job, buddy.
Yeah, bummed to miss that one, but it's great. Listen, love what he's doing.
So without further ado, Nick Bowins, the Locker Room of Life podcast. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome back to the Locker Room Life podcast. We're here with the man behind working in hockey. Kind of made a big explosion over this past year, Nick Bowins. He's been established in this space for a little bit, built up a few different accounts, been involved in hockey for many, many years now. And we're so excited to have him here and chat about everything.
Happy to be here.
Nice. So the number one thing to start off with is kind of maybe a little update on what you're doing currently. What's the day-to-day look like? And then we can kind of go from there into your hockey journey and kind of how it all started.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like Logan touched on, I started a brand called Working in Hockey almost a year ago now, last April, I think it was. It was an idea that I'd had in the hopper for a little bit and finally found some time on the calendar to get around to it. But really, the core of it, the genesis of it is just it's always been so difficult to find a career in hockey, in sports in general. But, hockey being the wheelhouse, wanted to focus on that first. Maybe we'll expand from that someday, but for now it's working in hockey. So basically I send a free email newsletter every Monday compiling every open hockey job in the industry in North America. So typically about 40 to 52, 53 jobs a week that we send out there. I post 5 to 10 of those on socials each week, which socials have been huge. I know we were talking about it just before there, but like the last month has been crazy with some of the summer internships and stuff coming up and just getting into everybody's different algorithms. I have students reaching out, I have their moms and dads reaching out asking for them to apply to it. Like it's hitting all the right strides, it's hitting the right people right now. But I mean, you guys know more than anything, there's so many good people in the hockey space. It's fun to have an outlet like this to try to give back in whatever way possible to a lot of the people that are A, already in the industry, or B, trying to find their foot in the door.
So when did this idea kind of come to you? Was it just kind of looking at the market and seeing, hey, that there's an opportunity here? Or because I'm going to tell you right now, this is awesome. Like, even myself, when I finished playing, who doesn't want to work in sports and who doesn't want to work in hockey? And the resources weren't there, the information wasn't there. So, interested to hear how the whole idea spurred.
Yeah, 100%. And I appreciate the kind words there, Frank. I think, like Logan said, I've been running hockey pages and hockey media brands for quite a few years now. And Hockey Collective was the last one that myself and the owner of it now, Patrick Sheba, he started it back in like 2012. And I've been doing it for the last like 5 years with him. That was like a passion project for us. That was our baby for a lot of years. And, the growth through it was awesome. But as social media has really kind of grown and blossomed over the last couple of years, we found it harder and harder to differentiate ourselves with posting news, highlights, stuff like that. There's so many great up and coming creators in hockey. You guys know that and see them all the time. From, Barber's been doing it forever, but a guy like Coach Chippy or Nasher or, these different guys that they have their personality and their persona and they do great things for the game that way. It makes it harder for just reposting a McDavid goal to stand out or something. So, internally probably got a little discouraged over time of like, I don't want to just keep posting highlights. I want to do something cooler. I want to do something different. We were trying to think of like what products to sell and whatnot. And, I'd always talk with different buddies about, maybe it's a tape idea or, different mini sticks or whatever it is, like different ideas or products in hockey. And then kind of a half-baked idea from one of my buddies and I one day was just like, what does everybody have? Everybody has a job. Everybody has a job. We don't all have a car. We don't all have a PlayStation. We don't all have an iPhone, whatever it is. Every single one of us has a job. So it's kind of corny and cheesy in that regard. But I just kind of looked at it as like, kind of like you said, Frank, so many people want to get into the industry. And it's one thing that genuinely every person over what the age of 18 has a job. So why not start marketing to something that has such a huge funnel like that and see where it goes?
That's such a cool way to look at things. And like you mentioned before, like if this keeps growing, I can definitely see this being a thing for every sport on the planet. Like you do such a good job with kind of providing it and get the insights behind the specific jobs. I know this is kind of recent, but the Hockey Canada job, like I could tell there were probably a bunch of people jumping all over that, but like you need 10 years of experience to have that. And it's just so cool that you have the insights for all of that and everything like that. I had the pleasure of being on your podcast that you've built up to a great extent. And it's just awesome, man. I mean, taking a few steps back, your playing journey, where did it start? Your love for hockey, kind of everything blossom into this.
Yeah, playing journey wasn't a long journey, about 3 hours north of Toronto, just outside of Collingwood or Blue Mountain for any Ontario listeners there. Played hockey all my life, for the most part with my buddies, local teams and local high schools. And there's not a lot of travel hockey when you get into the northern kind of parts of Ontario there. You're driving 3 hours to make a AAA team or things like that. So it wasn't something that we did. I stopped playing hockey going into university. I wanted to play baseball. So I took 2 years off in high school. Brutal decision in hindsight. Like, what was I thinking trying to play baseball in Northern Ontario like that? that's not a good decision. So yeah, regret there, but all leads to good things. So while I was at school, University of Waterloo for sport business, ended up playing on the school ball hockey team, which was fun. Kind of
Awesome.
dip my toes back into it. Ball hockey's sick. I don't know how those guys do it. It's so much running. It's insane. But got to do that, and then played a couple years of some crappy junior after I got the itch back for it there. And yeah, kind of just stuck with always stuck around the game. From the time I was 5 till today, I'm always the guy bugging my buddies with dumb stats or contract comparisons or whatever it is. I've always just loved the game and love marketing too. So kind of the bridge of both of those has turned into Hockey Collective and working in hockey and these different routes.
Well, I just wanted to throw out there too, I was born in Scarborough, so definitely know the minor hockey programs around the area, and kind of once you get along those neck of the woods, it does get a little sparse, but definitely people always ask, and you can relate to this, Nick, what was it like to grow up in Canada? And it's like, it's not as like drastic as people think. It's just everybody plays. It's kind of like I make the analogy comparison to football in Texas, right? In Canada, everybody just plays hockey. So it's, you almost feel like, oh, well, everybody's doing it, so I want to do it. It's not this dividing line that says, okay, you're a hockey player, there you go. It's just you're playing street hockey. You're not playing street hockey in the snow. You're playing, kick hockey with a tennis ball and just hitting people out in the schoolyard at a recess. But no, that's awesome. I think we talk a lot on this podcast about the hockey journey, the lessons we learn along the way. And I think more importantly, building the community. It's something that's so important to us as we kind of craft our path in building this platform as well. So we always love to hear the love for the game is always the root of where it all begins. And then you kind of figure out that tapping into this wonderful network that we have, which is hockey players, being able to just keep that love going, but connecting this wonderful network that we have as friends and as people in the community. So it's so awesome to hear that you started something from the love and then began to build a network from that point of view to help kids, especially looking for a job, which is, and I'm going to say right now, the economy right now isn't what it used to be. So just being able to have some extra help in that department and being able to have something to refer to is amazing. I do have a question, relationships wise. So when you first started it, were you kind of just approaching organizations, people in hockey? Like, if you could maybe elaborate on kind of how that kind of all came about.
Yeah, 100%. And I think to full circle on what you just said there as well, like hockey's such a small world and it is small communities and like those like small town roots and playing with buddies, like that's kind of the same approach that I took to building this and how I look at building it. Like if you DM the account, it's me answering. Like I might hire other people to help with other things, but like I want them to know it's me. You're dealing with Nick. He's going to answer you with this. It's going to be honest. It's going to be transparent. Like I like that small community feel that the hockey world has, and I will always keep that with the page. And with that in mind, like the first jobs that I was posting were just 100% me scrolling through other teams' job boards and stuff and sharing the links to them. The first probably like 4 or 5 newsletters, they was just 100% me sharing what was already out there, just sharing it from my voice to get eyeballs on it. Started happening, teams started, taking note and reaching out. And, okay, the head of whatever in the WHL just followed the page and reshared this. That's cool. Let's reach out to him. The GM of this team just reshared this on their LinkedIn. Are they big on LinkedIn? No, but that's still an AHL GM. That's cool. Let's reach out to them. All those sort of kind of pathways and relationships came about. And today I'd say it's about 50-50 jobs that I share are ones that I found and ones that teams, companies, brands sent to me to post. There's probably some better monetization strategies there than I'm doing today. I could probably be targeting these teams for the job postings with how many eyeballs and applicants they're getting. But for me, like I say, it's all about growing that community and relationships initially. And, I think all that business side of things will take care of itself when you have the organic, genuine eyeballs and receptiveness of an audience like that.
You hit the nail on the head. I mean, that's exactly what we're trying to do on this platform. I mean, it's what I'm trying to do with my company. Like I said on our podcast, and the many times we talked, like I don't want, like, no disrespect to anyone else, but like I don't want anyone else answering my DMs or answering anything like that. I want you to know that it's like I care about the company. I care about what we're doing for the community, and even with the podcast as well. It's it's just something that people can see. People can feel it when they're listening. People can feel it when they're watching or even reading something. So I think it's huge. And to segue into that a little more, like, who are some of the people that, like, throughout this kind of craze of people starting to reach out to you, like, who's some of the coolest people you've talked to? And like, you're just like, wow, like, I've just million years, I would never been able to imagine I was talking to that guy.
Yeah, that's a good question. There's this guy who's doing this like tape company thing, Logan Kubo. No, there's honestly been a lot, man, and it's, I won't blow them all up on what they're sharing with me and whatnot, but it's cool that, like, I'll relate it back to LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. It's not everybody's thing, but I love going on there. Every single person that follows the Working in Hockey LinkedIn page that currently works in hockey, I will reach out to from my personal account afterwards too. So when I just like sit down on a random Sunday now and scroll through my LinkedIn connections, I'm like, oh, I don't like really know these people. I'm not friends with them day to day, but now I have this open door, this connection with, I don't know, half the GMs and coaches in different leagues, and like they're there, and I can have that conversation. And I think that's the best part is again, hockey is such a small community that people have already seen this, even if they haven't followed. Most people have seen the page pop up at one point or another, and them following along, them commenting, saying, hey, we have a job open at Bauer. Like, that's huge for me because now somebody can click that person's profile and see, oh, this guy's at Bauer. Maybe I'll reach out to him when I apply. Or, oh, this is legit what Nick's doing. He's in touch with Bauer. Whatever it may be there, right? So I won't blow up anybody too personal there, but it's crazy to me, man. The big wig people that have caught a hold of it so far has been awesome.
You can probably attest to this also. I mean, hockey's grown in so many different facets of need, right, in the job market, because there's so many different departments: analytics on the hockey side, the development side, the business side, the marketing, the sales. So, I mean, the possibilities are endless, and being able to kind of connect with those people at the top, per se, you're being able to really go through their whole gambit of needs. And I think that that's an amazing thing, especially when you're working. I see how that translates on the student level, because you're going to be able to hone these relationships to the fact of people are going to start coming to you and saying, hey, Nick, like, I'm thinking of going into marketing. What do you think? Is it a good idea? Is there jobs out there? Like, so I think that it's really cool. You can take a really meaningful advisory kind of role as well, because you're going to be able to kind of craft people's career path, which is super powerful. I mean, school counselors love them to death. I love them. I do. Bless their heart.
Real quick before you say anything more, Frank, like, what you just said is like, my graphic designer, I texted Nick. I was like, hey, my graphic designer is trying to work in hockey. Like, any recommendations, anything to do that'll make her stand out, anything like that. So it's super valuable.
I think you teed it up perfectly there, Frank. Like, it's a lot of power that I don't know if I should be trusted with to help shape people's career paths there. But it's awesome. Like, to have those conversations and just kind of, help people understand what's realistic and what's attainable. And a lot of times, to your point, they might say, hey, I want to do marketing. Okay, what in marketing? Or, hey, I want to work for the Boston Bruins. So does the rest of Massachusetts. Do you want to work for the Providence Bruins? Will you be open to working for the New York Rangers if they want to hire you? Like, all those different conversations that, when we were all coming out of school, we thought the world was our oyster and we were going to get exactly what we wanted. And, it's helped not crush dreams, but set attainable, tangible kind of goals and pathways for people to get in these roles. It's, hey, everybody wants to be the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, yes, Brock University can make that their poster child of Kyle Dubas going to school there and then becoming the GM of the Leafs. But, like, how many more Canadian university students are ever going to be GM of an original six team? It's pretty tough to do. Let's set our sights a little bit further there. Let's widen it a little bit. Let's think, hey, if I could be the GM of an AHL team in the next 5 years, that's pretty damn cool too. So kind of just helping set those pathways and guidance for them too.
That's awesome.
It's just like, it's just a very, and I know that we wanted to bring this up in the podcast, but for some listeners who don't know, but like, I'm a student in college right now to kind of build this brand and everything. And it's just so valuable. Like, I run into so many students, so many players who are still just like playing juniors and don't know what they're going to do. And I know that some of these things require a college degree, but just like having that security that's just like, okay, we can kind of pursue these things and they're here in front of my face. I just need to take initiative and do the right things to try and get this job and be the best applicant. So it's just a powerful platform and what you're doing. And I can't wait. Like, I know you said this prior, but like, is there an expansion? I know it's a big picture. I know it's a big picture idea, but would there be an expansion into kind of doing things and commercializing it and maybe becoming someone that you do end up charging these things for?
Yeah, I think so for sure. I think time will tell on kind of what avenues I take it there. I've got a lot of I've got a lot of ideas. We'll see if they're good or bad, and we'll kind of iron it out over time. But like I said, I'm solely focused on like growing the audience right now because I just want to hit as many people as possible and bring them the value of this is a free resource. Like lean on the newsletter here for now, lean on the social posts, and then once they're in and know me and trust me and know that I'm trying to help set them on the right path, then I'll pitch different things, sell different things, take it different avenues, I think. But I'm fully focused on kind of just growing the awareness and the audience of it. And, to your point before there, Logan, like a lot of the guys that are currently playing hockey are some of my favorite conversations to have. Cause one corny thing I always say is like teams love to see teams on resumes. If you're applying to an NHL team, an AHL team, they want to see that you work for another team too. So if you're currently playing junior and you're not sure what to do, why not go ask the GM like, hey, can I help the video coach? Like, can I help one of our scouts for a weekend if I'm out hurt or those things? Like, I love having the conversations with guys who are still playing, guys and girls who are still playing, because I think there's so much opportunity there because you're already affiliated to a team. But yeah, I think lots of opportunity, and I'm kind of just trying to roll with the punches for now and see where it goes.
What's the coolest job thus far that you've seen come through that you're like, ooh, I'd actually want to throw my name into that one?
Yeah, there's been a couple. I think the very first one, and I'll give some love to Mikey Grinelli from Spit and Chicklets. I think the first week that I started posting, Chicklets was looking for a podcast editor, and I put that up as like the lead graph or the lead image in the graphic, and tagged him and tagged Chicklets, and he shared it right away. And we went from I got maybe 500 organic followers in the first week or two, and after he shared it, we were at like 1,500 or 2,000. Like just instantly, shout out to Grinelli for that one. So that one always stands out to me. I think the coolest or like rarest one last summer, there was lots going on with the Minnesota Frost, we'll say, behind the scenes, but they posted their general manager role online. Frank, Logan, myself, we all could have applied. I think that is so rare and crazy. And, I'm not going to get that. Logan probably not going to get it. Maybe Frank will, but that's just a cool job. Like, just to see like what they're looking for, right? Because I don't think we even think about like what would the job description be for that? What would they look for in a resume and that? So I think that was another one that stands out as like just so rare that the PWHL is in a great spot and their defending champions had their general manager role posted online on Indeed and Teamwork Online, etc.
That's actually like mind blowing to even think about. And to kind of lean into the growth and shout out Cornelli, but it's something that you've kind of mastered, like with Hockey Collective. Like amassing almost 500,000 followers on Instagram is not an easy task for any company, and especially a hockey page. And I don't know if there's any tools, insights that you give to people who are trying to grow. I mean, including myself. I just think that it's so valuable what you've done. I mean, it's something that people spend their whole lives trying to master and trying to get that algorithm down and get people to follow you and get people to interact with your stuff. So if there's anything at all that you've learned from it, we'd love to hear.
Yeah, no, good question. I think there's definitely a lot of things that change, like you said, with the algorithm. Like right now, for example, it loves carousel posts or swipe posts that you scroll through the images, right? So that's great for me posting multiple jobs. Works well. I can do it like that. If it switches back to video being the most preferable thing, I'm going to have to start putting my jobs in video templates and, maybe it plays differently or fast forwards through the jobs, whatever it is. You're always going to have to trial and error to kind of experiment with what's working there. On a broader, more strategic level, I'd say that I always look at social media as you have to educate or entertain. you can kind of cross those two. You can be anywhere on this spectrum between the two, but it's got to be one or the other. Otherwise, people are scrolling. There is endless amounts of content today. There is endless amounts of people talking into a mic or people making graphics that they think are cool. Whatever it is, there's lots of people doing it. You got to educate them or entertain them. You got to get to them quick. So that's kind of how I look at it. And, it's just doing something different again. Like, coming back to the McDavid goal, like 100 pages are going to have a McDavid highlight reel goal posted within 5 minutes of it happening now. What are you doing that it's different on your page? Are you cutting up the replay angles? So, maybe it leads with the on ice camera and that's just a different perspective. So that first 3 seconds is different than everybody else's posted. Or, are you putting it in a carousel with a graphic of it first so they're enticed to see how did the goalie end up in this weird position, or whatever it is. You've got to be doing something different. And again, that's why it worked with this. Everybody has a job. Everybody looks at job postings. Nobody was looking at them on Instagram. So put them on Instagram and see how it goes.
Yeah, which is, it's so telling in regards to the times we live in, right? Like, if you think about the changes, it used to be we would measure the changes by years, and then it became by months, and now it's literally by the days. Like, the trends go up and down, and being able to have and kind of keep on that balancing act of being fresh and being new and staying relevant. I think everybody fights that battle, but you in media, you probably get approached this question a lot now from students. And what is your advice to the students? Because you're seeing essentially both sides of the fence, right? You're seeing the kind of employer side, but you're also being able to say, okay, just to let you know that there's a high demand for this. What is your kind of advice for incoming students? Are you sharing that information? Are you kind of guiding them on that regard?
Yeah, 100%. As much as I can there, I try to let them know, like, just little ins and outs of, they're saying, hey, I'm going to get my dad to review my resume and apply to this tomorrow. Don't do that. Apply today because this could be closed tomorrow. This already has 1,000 applicants. Like, this is a popular position. I need you to jump on it now. To, hey, I want to get my foot in the door with marketing. I've been fooling around with a camera, but don't really know, how to make a career out of that. Just post it. Put it out there. Like, if you're doing cool stuff, you got to tell people you're doing cool stuff. Otherwise, nobody's going to know you're doing cool stuff. So you just got to put it out there. So, it's different with every kind of path and niche there, but I try to give as much insight as possible. And, like we talked about with some of the people that have connected with the page and reached out and stuff, like, I try to pick their brains as much as possible. Like, hey, what roles are you guys struggling to fill right now? So that I can tell people, hey, if you're looking for something different, you don't want to be a ticket sales guy. Did you ever think about data analyst work for an NHL team? Because their analytics department's expanding and they're going to need 5 guys next year and things like that. And, again, I really like talking to current players or college students because I think those two opportunities are huge right now. College hockey only continues to go up and up and up. If you can get involved with the marketing of the college you're attending to, like, that is an awesome hands-on opportunity because we're getting more clips and reels and angles and shots, and we're getting games on more different broadcasts, and we're having more people talk about the college games. So if you're on a college campus, getting involved in any way possible with the school team is going to be such valuable experience. So, I try to give as specific as advice to the person as possible. It's tough when somebody reaches out and just says, like, hey Nick, what advice do you have for me? Do you have an hour to chat? Like, no, I don't have an hour to talk to you about open-ended. We don't know where it's going. But if you say, hey, I'm at Boston College right now. I really want to get into marketing or sales. I can try to put them on the right path or steps there, I hope.
I honestly, like, I know you said it's different for everyone. Like, their paths are different and everything, but you said some very real things in there, and something that I tell everyone who asks me anything is, like, just go and do it. Just go and do it. Don't think about it. Just go and do it. If you mess up, that's one mistake that you're learning from at the next stage of your life. And it's something that a lot of people don't kind of wrap their head around until it's too late. Thankfully, I'm blessed that I made that risky decision, and hopefully we're on the track to keep building something good. But really, I'm super interested on your thoughts on kind of the players, and if they're in juniors and they're kind of conflicted of, like, do I want to go play ACHA and just go have a good time and kick back and relax? Or do you think it would be possible for a junior player to make a jump to, even if they're in like if it's a sales role or if it's anything like that, do you think those things are open for those guys without a
Yeah,
college?
I think so for sure. I think it all depends on how you position yourself. Like, again, for kind of the hiring or recruiting background of things, like I work for a tech company day to day, director of operations, and I've helped hire a majority of our team in North America from, I think I was the fifth person to we've got about 75 now. I've got a stack of 130,000 resumes here in our database that people have applied to our company. So I've looked at all these, I've gone through them all, I've done as many interviews as I humanly wish to. So, I've seen every different kind of resume and walk of life and path. And I don't care what your grades were in grade 12. I don't care what, grade you got in sophomore year. I don't care what program you took at the end of the day. I don't care what university it was for the most part. There's some that'll impress you, whatever, but I care about the person. Like, I think any good recruiter, hiring manager, or otherwise would say that. Both of you guys would say that from people you worked with and people you brought on the teams. Like, it's about the person. It's about the personality fit. You can teach skills. You can't teach how not to be a jerk or whatever it is, right? It's, it comes down to the person a lot of times and how you position yourself and what you want to bring to the company and, how you dress when you walk in there, how you shake somebody's hand, how you explain your experience, how you describe that, hey, I'm a current player. I don't have a degree yet, but I'm really into sales. I want to get into sales. Your company caught my eye. Is there any opportunity here where I could come in and learn for 2 years? And, if it's not going well, you send me on my way and maybe I'll go back to school, but I think I can do this. So it's all about kind of how you position yourself and network yourself with those people to find your own path.
And that's a great point. I think in life, especially as we all know, it's about opportunity and timing, right? Being able to have a great opportunity is one. And there's only a certain line that you can take them to, right? You can advise somebody as much as possible and you can give them and line them up to have this great opportunity, a great interview, right? But to your point in positioning, they're the ones that are going to have to do it for themselves. They're the ones that are going to have to say, you know what? This may not be where I want to be in 3 or 4 years, but this is a way for me to get my foot in the door. And I believe in myself in order to make this opportunity. Once I get my foot in the door, the possibilities are endless. And I think my next parlay was going to be with athletes, right? Do you see that? I know it's kind of a loaded question, but do you feel that athletes have that kind of gene in them to say, you know what, I'm going to work my way through this, opposed to somebody that maybe applying that maybe didn't play sports or have those experiences or experience that adversity, because to them it's just like, well, it's got to be perfect or nah, it's really not for me.
Yeah, I think that's well said. And like you said, there's generalizations that I could make there, but I kind of look at it as anybody who is part of a team culture. That can be the basketball team, the hockey team, and played pickup soccer on the weekends, was on the chess team in school, was on the drama team. Anybody that has that kind of team experience and exposure to me always catches my eye. I'm somebody that looks at that stuff on a resume. Most people don't anymore. I think they kind of say like, hey, get your hobbies and crafts and whatever off the resume once you're an established professional. I like looking at that stuff. That to me can say a lot about a person because you guys know, you guys have played all your lives, like just the little people skills, like the way that, okay, you know what, this guy across the room is driving me crazy, but I can't yell at him because we're teammates. We got to work through this. I have to be on time for practice. Otherwise, the entire team is going to get skated and I'm going to hear about it. All those little, like, just skills and things that honestly our parents and coaches like ingrained in us from a young age. I love those kind of attributes in hires. And like you said, Frank, to me, one of the biggest ones of those is just the ability to put the team first or the company first. Like that is so many people who I've hired or worked with that have that sports or team background are able to wear different hats and juggle different tasks. And they don't think going getting their boss, maybe it's me sending them out to get my lunch. Like they don't think they're above that and they're not going to say no. They're going to do it because maybe that's what helps the team in the moment. With Logan, what you guys are doing, like maybe everybody has to unload tape boxes on the weekend. Maybe everybody has to package orders, and that's not what everybody signed up for or what their exact job description says, but they're on the team. They know that that's how a team works. So they're not opposed to doing that, right?
You're just spitting out so much knowledge and so much truth right now. It's crazy. I mean, we talk about it so much, and how hockey players are just we're just such a rare breed of people. And I mean, no disrespect to any other athletes whatsoever, but like you said, you're the culture just behind hockey, I think, makes us into responsible, caring, and it builds a lot of leadership in our character. Just even if you've never worn a letter in your life or anything, like you have to be a leader no matter what. And just those soft skills, like you were saying, like those soft skills, like knowing how to shake someone's hand. And I mean, thank God I learned how to do some of these things throughout my hockey career. Like if I would have went into any interview I've been in any case without having my OHL interviews over the phone when I was 15 years old, I wouldn't know how to do any of it. It's just like you have the Erie Otters grilling you for an hour and a half. I'm pretty sure you can have anyone else grill you about anything. So it's especially at 15 years old. So I definitely think that just the culture and everything that we've built in hockey does make really good humans at the end of the day. And it's just such a heavy point that we like to bring up in this podcast.
Yeah, no, I liked how you kind of snuck the OHL reference in there just to
Oh my
remind
God.
everybody.
I know.
Please
I know. He brings
stop.
just to let you know, he brings it up every episode. But
Oh my God. I was like second to last pick. Relax.
I think last pod he was wearing his jersey. I don't know.
Yeah.
We gotta
Oh, definitely. You guys caught me. Hands up.
No, but I think that the great thing too is, and Logan and I were just chatting about this before we kind of came on. Dynamically, even the partners on this podcast, right? Like Jay and I are kind of look at ourselves as like the seasoned veterans, but Logan is, he's in college and still being able to have those fresh perspectives. And I think it's important. It's the way the world is. You have to stay relevant in regards to what's happening right now. And I can speak for myself. When I was done in college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I knew what my passions were, but to formulate that into like a job, it was always like, well, you got to do these crappy jobs before you get the job that you really want. And that goes back to my original point of opportunity and timing, right? Like there's a lot of people that were able to give me an opportunity, and from there I kind of took the ball and ran with it. And that's kind of the bridge that you're gapping, is being able to have a great platform for people to reference and to say, you know what, this is attainable. I can get this job with this really cool team. And if you're in college, you're like, it kind of keeps you motivated to stay in there because you know that there's some light at the end of the tunnel to be like, this is pretty cool. Like I can get with Nick after this, and he could probably give me a really good opportunity, or at least some references to some really good opportunities that are open to me. So I think the power of what you're doing is a lot more than you actually feel it right now, because I'm just looking at it from a perspective of, and I'm sure Logan does too, like this is really cool. This is something that is open to me, to where I'm not scared that when I graduate, I'm not going to have any opportunities, or everything starts from square one again, So I just really think it's a useful tool, and I think you're doing a really, really amazing thing with this.
No, I really appreciate that. That means a lot, Frank. And there's a lot of paths. There's a lot of uncertainty trying to get into a sports industry, or hockey in particular. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. And, to your point of like, you're supposed to know what you want to do. I still don't know what I want to do. And I tell almost everybody that I talk to that, like, I love my day job. I love working in hockey as my passion project. Does that mean that I'm going to love them in 10 years and still want to be doing the same thing and answering everybody's DM and reading resumes? And I don't know. Like, I don't know yet, right? So I think all these things figure themselves out, and you just keep. It's all corny stuff, but you just keep being a good person. You talk to the right people, and you do things that you love. And all those corny cliches are what they are for a reason.
I have a question for the job, market, and you can kind of elaborate this on as much as you can. If not, it's fine. Is it still who you know when you're applying for a job?
Depending on the role, it can be. The, again, corny advice that I give on the podcast all the time, in the newsletter, etc., that I stole and claimed from my buddy Johnny Lazarus, is it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And that is very much how I look at
That
things
is.
in the social media realm today. And again, going back to the marketing or video stuff, like nobody knows you have a camera. Nobody's going to hire you to be their cameraman. But if you're posting your stuff and you're getting it out there and you're reaching out to other videographers, all of a sudden a lot of people know you. And when they're sick on a weekend and can't film the local Minnesota high school hockey tournament, they might reach out to you because they know you're down the street and they know you've been doing some stuff, right? So yes, there are certain roles that are posted for 4 or 5 days, and I go, wow, that would have been a really cool role. I wonder why it was taken down so quickly. I wonder who they just shoot into that position, right? That definitely happens, especially at the senior levels and the more senior roles. But as far as, kind of getting your foot in the door, cracking down, getting a path, I think that it's about who knows you and who knows what you want to do.
It's great advice. I think, back to what Frank said and to what you said, it all goes hand in hand with relevancy. And to kind of pivot away from working in hockey a little bit, like, how do you think media and like just for hockey players growing up and just the sport in general, like media has changed the game so much in the past for every sport, for everything. It's just been so crazy. And you mentioned earlier, just like the guys who take advantage of those things like Chippy and Nasher and all those guys, they built such amazing platforms. And just any insights on just how hockey media has changed? I know you've been around it for so long, since the beginning of it. So definitely.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's partially the social media world that we live in today. Everybody's seen it, been around it for long enough that they're a little bit more comfortable with it. They're willing to show themselves a little bit more online or on camera, whatever it may be. I think there's a lot of good people doing good things and helping guys feel safe, sharing their story or getting out there and doing a commercial or a funny skit or whatever it may be, because they know it's not going to be twisted or turned in a negative way. And I think some people dislike the marketing side of hockey and they think it should just stay to the small community that it is. And like we said, those are all good people in the game today. It does have a great small community feel to the game. But at the same time, the Kachucks going on the Kelsey Brothers podcast this week is a great thing for hockey.
Yep.
And I know so many Canadian listeners and fans are like, well, why are they going on that? They aren't even the winners. It should be Hagel and Marchand. They were the guys that were mic'd up. They would have more fun. Like, you see all those tweets online and it's like, who, let somebody go on. I don't care if it's Frank or Logan that's on there with the Kelsey brothers. Somebody going on and talking about hockey is a good thing with them because we're growing the game. We're using these different outlets. And I think that's, the last couple of years have been all about collabs. You see it from every fast food joint, every retail joint. They're all collaborating with each other. There's, I don't know, McDonald's and Nike have a damn shoe together. Like whatever it is, everybody's collaborating because they realize the value of getting other eyeballs and brand awareness. And that's what hockey's, been leaning into, been struggling to lean into in the past, but getting a lot better at lately. So to your question, I think hockey marketing is only on the up and up. And again, I think especially in college hockey, because you factor in NIL, you factor in the CHL, you factor in the fact that everybody on a college campus has an iPhone camera or better on them at all times. The marketing realm for the young athletes today is exponential compared to what it was when any of us were suiting up.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things in social media that drive us nuts. I'm not going to lie, but what I love about it these days as well is people open to collaboration, and I embrace that because as smaller brands, want to collaborate with larger brands, obviously, because you're trying to gain your exposure, you're trying to build your exposure. But in hockey, especially, I still feel like we're biased, but hockey players are so accessible, even at the highest level. You could probably DM, an NHL player, and most likely he'll probably write you back. Opposed to, I'm just, this is just analysis that I've done in my lab that because NBA players, they have their marketing teams, they have all their personnel. I still feel like that's the amazing grounded part of being a hockey player. And that respect is taken to even the highest level, even the highest level player. They still have that same respect for hockey players, people in the game, people that want to learn from them, people that want to be mentored by them. So I think that's, again, as we go through this social media circus, I still feel like that's a positive that's continuously growing out of the social media collaboration end of things. And on the influencer level, I think it's amazing to see hockey growing and growing those additional tentacles of being able to have influencers that are being successful promoting the game of hockey, where 5 years ago, even the game wasn't in this stage of really being up there by one of the top four sports. And that's just a fact. The revenue says it, and really just from the media perspective as well.
Totally agree. And like you said, I think influencers are needed with where the game has been at events with, again, I'll use Coach Chippy as the example. There's NHL players walking out the door. There's Coach Chippy walking out the door. The kids all go to Chippy. The NHL guys are walking out like, who's this kid? Like, what's going on? Like, I had my Sharpie. I was ready to sign. Like, this is what kids are consuming. This is what kids are into. And I think that's good for the game. Another guy that I had on the podcast early was Arda Ocal, who's awesome for ESPN. He thinks that every single NHL team should have a dedicated influencer or two who's just growing the game. Logan, with Columbus, Nasher does a ton of stuff with them. They could do more, and they could have a second person. They could have a female hockey influencer based in Columbus who is driving a local audience. And then the youth girls teams want to go to Blue Jackets games with her and know that she's going to be on the Jumbotron and all these different things. So I think there's downfalls to the influencer creator market for sure, and social media and everything, but the value of it for a game like ours is awesome. And I think teams are going to continue to hire more people that they deem theirs.
Yeah. Like you said, it can get diluted sometimes. Like it just can happen, or someone's charging an obscene amount of money and smaller brands can't work with them. But like you said, it's for the game of hockey at the end of the day. And I think it's so much bigger than that. And having these guys and kind of pivoting to kind of what we all do, and something I've been wanting to bring up on this podcast is like all these people who become influencers and become different things, like they're entrepreneurs. Like they're trying to make money. They're trying to do things on their own and really make a living doing this. And I mean, if there's any input from being an entrepreneur, I know that when we break down some internals of us talking boringly for an hour, we can go deep into our entrepreneurial stuff, but would love to hear just like your thoughts on being an entrepreneur in hockey.
Yeah, I think it's easier said than done. With any entrepreneurial avenue, resistant to change, all those things. But like you said earlier in the show, Logan, like if you want to do something, just do it. And for me, I guess I probably skipped this part of my background, but when I graduated from Waterloo sports business, I'd worked for a couple of OHL teams, and I thought that was going to be the path. I thought for sure I'm going to work for OHL teams. I'm locked into that. Then it'll be AHL, then it'll be NHL, whatever I thought at the time. I graduated about a month into COVID. So hockey was not being played. There is not hockey jobs. So, okay, I could have sat around and sulked and collected the COVID checks that were getting sent and not done anything. But I got a normal job and I started a hockey brand on the side. And when that one wasn't going too well, I met with somebody else and worked on their hockey brand. And I just ingrained myself in it, and just by trying it, because I didn't want to not do anything with the game. I didn't want to not do anything with hockey media. Like I wanted to be a part of it somehow. So when that opportunity wasn't there for myself, I started it. I did it myself. Like I think that is my advice to so many people is, okay, if somebody's not giving you the crack at it right now or the chance to do it right now, just go do it yourself. And then come back to them and say, hey, look what I've built. Like now you want to be a part of it? Or, now this is bigger than yours, or whatever you want to come back to them and say. But just go and try it yourself, because either way, you're going to get the experience. You're going to learn some things. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to make some good decisions. But more importantly, you're going to feel good about the fact that you did it and you tried it. And, if you have to go get a job as a cashier after to pay the bills because your hockey video game didn't pan out, okay. But at least you tried it. At least at least you gave it a shot, right?
Yeah. And that's great advice. I mean, especially in regards to, again, I hate to roll back to the social media side of things, but it's also, you can take social media at the angle of being fairly discouraging, right? Because you could have this amazing idea or perception in your head of, oh my God, I want to do this, or I really want to pursue this. But then you go on social media and you see 5,000 people that are doing the same thing. And especially with the way that our feeds are kind of attached to our habits. So it kind of is, it kind of makes you feel, well, maybe I shouldn't do it because this guy's doing it. So I still think that the same ethics apply to when you're pursuing a dream. You just have to, like you said, ingrain yourself in it, be willing to sacrifice everything and know that it couldn't work out. I mean, I think that that's where people really struggle, to know that you could give everything that you could possibly can and you could fail. But I think that there's also a settling aspect to that, to where it kind of, you're kind of just like, well, what am I going to do? You know, if I'm already expecting myself to fail anyway, then I'm just going to do it, and maybe I could surprise myself. So I think that with social media, it's also a touchy thing, because we got to use it for the positive that it brings into our life, you know. And I think that there is a lot of positive, like we just talked about. There's a lot of those positive factors, but like you just said, I think that's such an important lesson, and you know, especially for the next generation, you just got to go and just do it. You have to just know, and those lessons that you'll learn, they're invaluable. Like, we've all learned them. We've all known that, like, the one thing that we thought was going to be the one, you know, it just wasn't. But we learned from it, and we always remember it. And you know, we can all pinpoint those moments in our life where that happened. So I think that's just such a great point, and really do appreciate that knowledge, because it's amazing.
Yeah, and again, circling back to touching on or talking with players, but like I like using the analogy to players that, like, game's on the line. Do you want the puck or not? Like, you want the puck? Okay, well then do your own thing, because that's what's giving you the puck with the game on the line, and you get to take a shot. You get to see if it goes in or not, right? You get to control your destiny, or whatever cliche we want to say. Do you want the puck with the game on the line?
It's just so cool. I mean, we all do different things kind of in our day to day and build what we're trying to build, not say on the side per se, but also build it. And it's just so cool as like a so-called side gig and passion project, as you call it. Like, you've been able to go to, and as we start to wrap this up going towards the end, like, you go to CCM Hockey House. Like, that's an unbelievable spot with so many good people, so many good influencers. Touching back on that topic again, it's just like, how was that experience? I know that you were at the Winter Classic as well. You were doing a bunch of different things there, and it's just so cool to see that you're doing this and you're involved and getting invited to these things and being a part of kind of that niche following that hockey has.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and it's awesome, and I don't take those things for granted, especially like you say, when it is the side thing for me right now. Like, I still work a day job that is 60, 70 plus hours every week. So, like, is this easy to commit my weekends to all the time? No, it's not, but I do it because I believe in it and I want to take that shot. The CCM Hockey House was awesome, just to have everybody in one spot. I think that was definitely the most, like, creators, influencers, personalities, whatever, all in one spot that I've ever seen. So that was awesome. That event just keeps growing year after year. The Winter Classic was great. We've done some career fairs with NHL teams recently. They've done them. I've just attended. I don't want to take credit for that. I've just been there. But yeah, all these events. And again, it just stems from getting to know people in the game, getting to know people in the industry. And again, it's who knows you. And when Logan has an event, he reaches out and says, Frank, Nick, I need you guys here. I have this thing coming out. It's not me reaching out being like, Logan, I gotta come to your thing. Like, this would be the biggest thing for me. I need this favor from you. It's you seeing what's being done by Frank, by myself, whoever, and saying, I would like this here because I think you're doing cool stuff. That's the best part to me, is that kind of recognition in a way, but it's just like the acceptance of the peers and the people in hockey that matters more to me than anything else. I think it's cool when somebody in the industry says, what you're doing is cool. Like, I appreciate genuinely everything that you guys have said about working in hockey. Like, that means something to me because you guys are in it. You guys see it. And you guys have done stuff in the game. Like, that means more to me than a dollar figure or helping somebody do this, whatever it is, right?
That's so amazing. We've been blessed with even the guests that we've had on, and there's a consistent theme with all the guests that we've had on so far. And it's the same point that you just made. It isn't about the revenue. It isn't about the dollars that you're going to make monetarily right now. It's literally about connecting the network, building the community. And I say this every podcast. It's like clockwork, but it just, that's what really makes hockey such a different sport. And I know there's a lot of bias to it, but it just is. This sport is so different, and I'm so honored to be part of it, and always growing this community of people and extending these amazing invitations to people to continuously grow together. I can't say thank you enough for being part of this and coming on. We really do appreciate it.
No, absolutely. My pleasure. It was great to chat with you both. And again, just cool to be part of these things and get to talk about the game we love and try to make a difference along the way.
One little thing we like to do at the end of the pod is just tell everyone what you're doing. Tell everyone what the big summer plans are and what you're planning for the off season and what you're trying to do this next year.
Summer plan involves getting married, so that's
okay.
taking up a lot of
Congratulations.
that's
Congratulations.
Thank you. That's a lot of the time outside of work now is thinking about that and setting that up and planning that. So yeah, super excited for that. Going to be traveling a bit before that, a bit for work. I'm going back to Toronto here this week, catch a Leafs game or two, and yeah, it's going to be a busy summer, but I'm extremely excited.
That's awesome. Nick, one more question before you pop off.
Yeah.
What's the biggest red flag that you can tell people to not put on their resume or mention when they're looking for a job?
Biggest red flag.
Drum roll, please.
Honestly, I'm struggling with it because there's so many. And this one sounds obvious to the both of you. Your resume should be a page. It can be 2 pages. If you have 20 years of experience, maybe it can be 3. I got a resume the other day for my day job that was 22 pages. 22
What?
pages. Like, can you imagine writing that? That's like a school assignment. So the biggest red flag for me, and it's general, but it's just too long of a resume. Like that immediately, forget the fact that I don't want to read it all. It immediately tells me that you can't cohesively tell me what you've done and what you're about and where you've been, or you have a million jobs and bounced around and couldn't keep a job, or whatever the reason is, right? I would say 3 pages is too many, but 23, definitely too many.
On that note, Nick, we appreciate you so much for coming on to the Locker Room Life podcast. We are excited to bring you on at some point. Again, got to get a little catch up together, but thanks again.
Anytime. Really appreciate it, Frank and Logan.
Thanks so much, brother.
Thanks again to Nick Bowins. What a great interview. Again, amazing things that he's doing on his platform, really just shaping the next generation of people that are working in hockey and, just kind of helping the next generation really figure out a good path for them to work in hockey. What do you guys think?
Super cool.
Yeah.
I love what he's put together for people to easily find these positions that are opening throughout the league. I think I'm ready for a job change. So I will be browsing.
Like Frank and Jay said, I mean, I've known Nick for a while. I had the honor of being on his podcast as well. And he's doing super cool things for just the game as a whole. And I know we say it every time with our guests, and that's kind of what we try to do with our guests is hockey is a better place with him. And it's making it such a powerful culture, even more than it is allowing people who are business professionals who maybe even were not interested in hockey to go and then experience something else. And for the college kids who are interested in things and just people in general, he makes a great platform for it. And I can't thank him enough. I'm excited to do some more things with working in hockey with all the brands involved in the podcast. And yeah, it was awesome.
And on that note, want to thank our sponsors. Newly, Cut Shield Hockey has been added to one of the sponsors to the Locker Room Life podcast.
It's so comfortable. Like, it's unbelievable. I got the bottoms, like the, full leg bottoms with the Velcro for the socks, a top, the socks, and some wrist guards or some basically wrist guards, slash guards. They're not slash guards really, they're wrist guards. I don't really wear the wrist things too much, but the shirt and the bottoms are like insane. I don't even understand how he can make this stuff feel so soft. The socks are also incredible. Like, I have another pair of cut socks and they're very thick and my feet get like real swampy in my skates. And I wasn't a sock guy for a long time. So these ones are like, the foot part is really thin. The upper part kind of can go like all the way up to like just below your knee. So there's like cut protection, like all the way up the whole back of your calf, but they're like insane. I'm so stoked on it. It's such good stuff. Like, crazy, kind of blew my mind. Coming from the previous kind of cut protection stuff I was wearing, this is like a step up. This is definitely a cut above. I just had to get that out because truly I was like shocked about how comfortable this stuff was. And I wasn't like completely cooking in it like I have been before from some other stuff. So there it is.
Nice little blurb about our sponsor there. But
New
that's a great way to
sponsor.
close it out.
Yeah, new sponsor, Cut Shield Hockey, David Nerman, amazing guy, amazing product. So excited to have you on the roster of sponsors, along with Buddy Hockey Club, Bambino Shave Cream, Best Damn Tape. We love everyone for tuning in. We thank you again, and can't wait to see you on the next one. Later, guys.